Alright guys, going to walk you through getting these fenders on, hopefully a little helpful hints that will help you guys out, maybe make it a little quicker. So I'm going to have to go through some of the mistakes I did and trying to figure out stuff. The fenders line up pretty good. I guess we'll start from this end. This gap between the door and the fender here needs to be a lot bigger than you think it does. Be careful when you first put it on and you open your door and make sure you have clearance there. That gap looks pretty big, right? Check this out. You open the door, this bulged out part of the door here gets super close. I mean, that's probably, I don't know, what, 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch? So, got to trim this back here just a little bit. Got a little bit of fitting left to do on this fender. Also, I'm a little close to the hood right here for comfort. I don't know if you can see, the camera will focus. You can't see it. There's a line on there where I was going to do some trimming. A pencil works really well for that. Come down here, you can see where, we'll just start at the bottom. You can see how that pinch mold or a pinch weld there is cut back so that it clears the lip here of the fender and also gives you a maximum amount of clearance from the tire. Don't want to get into this fiberglass of the tire, so firewall is protecting it. The gray stuff you're looking at is body caulking. It just helps seal up any place two body panels meet. I'll sand that down and then undercoat this whole thing so you'll never see that there. Kind of help smooth it out a little bit, but also seal it up from water. I live in an area where you get a lot of rain, a lot of salt on the roads in the winter, so I want to make sure it's sealed up good. I'm going to Line-X the lip out here, the flare, and the inside of the fender just to protect it some. There's the bolt hole. You can see there's a little divot there where I think maybe a bolt was supposed to go. I don't know, but that is a factory bolt hole behind there and a factory bolt. So use the clip nut and just bolted that right in once I lined it up. Had to drill a hole, of course. You can see in here where did relief cut, relief cut, relief cut, another one, and one more. These two pieces came out toward the outside of the truck. The pieces down here went toward the inside, toward the engine. I hammer them over. The relief cuts make it a lot easier to hammer those over so they don't get into your tire. And just wanted to make the maximum amount of clearance I could in there. Since you're in there working, might as well clearance it all the way, and then you don't have any problems later down the road. Move that wiring harness right there up out of the way. I was working on taking that body bolt out and flipping it over on the other side of that, and found out you do not want to use an impact gun on the body bolts because there's a captive nut on the inside there under a false floor, and you will spin that captive nut out of the little sheet metal holder, and there's no way to get to it except cut the floor pan out of the truck right underneath the pedals. So that's a project for some other day. Just a bonus tip right there. You can see where I cut the sheet metal out that was hanging down here. Just looked crappy, and I think this will look cleaner, and that'll give me a nice flat surface on this to work with for mounting a fender well in there, fender liner. That's about it for there. Right here you can see where I made a cut on the orange piece. This is the piece that wraps around underneath the grill. And the reason I did that was because if you looked from the side here, it would stick out in this opening about an inch or two, and I just thought it looked crappy sticking out in the fender well opening. For one, I trimmed it back for that, and the other reason is you can see this fiberglass piece right here, you can actually see the lip is turning down. If you've got this piece sticking out here, you know, past the end of the fiberglass, where it turns down is going to create a gap that you're not going to be able to pull the fender and the plastic piece together. You can see back in there a couple of bolts I put in just to hold that together. I've got some nice stainless steel stuff I'm going to use later, so no corrosion. And you see this actually lines up fairly decent right here. Little tape left on there from where I was mounting it. I did have a problem with the headlight clearing, so you can see there where I clearanced that headlight, the corner of the headlight, and opened this up here a little bit. The fiberglass is actually hitting the headlight. So still have some finishing work to do. The edge isn't perfect yet, but it'll get there once we get ready to start talking about paint. Go underneath here, you can see how that is notched back here and then over. You see the original fender, that is a straight line on the back side there. This notch isn't there. What that allows it to do is taking that material out, allows you to pull this in nice and snug here to just make a nice fit on that body panel. One thing you'll want to do, just kind of switch sides over here. This is the bolt that holds this piece on. Loosen that up so you can get it adjusted where you want. Mine was pushed way over and was causing a fitment issue. And as soon as I loosened that bolt up, suddenly magically everything just lined up and made it a lot easier. Here's the piece where I was talking about cutting off. Got rid of all this crap because that all sticks out in the fender well opening and just didn't like the looks of it, and it just really hindered getting this fiberglass to mate up on the surface here and look nice and tight. Did the same mods over here on the firewall, and did the Raptor claw. Real easy to do while your fender's off. No problems dropping any tools down in any place you can't get them or anything like that. And one thing I didn't have to, I did this by myself out here, and I used a broomstick to prop the hood open as far open as it could. Really took all the pressure off the hinge, and the strut here was not holding it. There's really very little pressure on it because it was mostly setting on that broomstick handle. And what that allowed me to do was I made some marks there and there, and another one up front here. I don't know if you can see them, they're red marker. And then I loosened these up. The hinge did not even move. I slid this over there, carefully put the bolts back in and tightened them up before anything moved. Made the marks to verify that nothing moved while I was doing it. Thanks to some of the guys on the forum for making the suggestion that there's masking tape and then duct tape over it. The fender edges are sharp and there's a lot of pressure when you're first fitting it up. So if you don't, I've got a couple layers of duct tape here, and you can see where that's really scuffed that duct tape up. You don't want to beat up your paint, so layer it up there. Same cuts down at the bottom, just like the other side. And upper control arm, in, top perch, Outlaw's tie rod. See their names etched into it, kind of cool. This is what happens when you have your shock in a corrosive environment, like road salt. All that nice clear comes off and it discolors the aluminum, but I don't really care because this isn't a show truck, it's to go have fun with off-road. There's the cat. Say hi, baby. Yeah, fenders, huh? So there's the cut on this side that I'm planning on doing to clearance that. Did a little clearancing in this corner, and that's about it. Actually, once you get used to it, get things straightened out and know some of these little shortcuts and things you got to cut on, they fit up a lot easier. The second side's going easier. There's a couple of tabs here. One last thing. One there, one down at the bottom, and that's where you would think that your fender will bolt up to support it on the side of the truck there. It actually doesn't. Those don't meet the fiberglass. The fiberglass is cut out around them. So I'm thinking, take a piece of aluminum stock here, bolt in, and then when it comes down, when you're down lower, down right around here, the fiberglass will overlap it, and you can put another bolt through it, and then you can tie it into the one at the bottom, and it gives you a nice little brace there to hold your fender. Just make it a little more secure. You don't want the thing bouncing around when you're off-road or whatever, chipping things up. So that's about it. I don't know. This is the workshop for the Raptor here, and hope this helped you guys out.